This land of ours is under attack. The time has come, we're gonna take it back. Just wait and see. Don't tread on me. I won't sit back, stand idly by. Watch the heart of my nation die. Oh, not me. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on my Bible, don't tread on my guns. Don't you tread on my faith in God's only Son. Don't tread on me. Don't tread on me.
Hey everybody, this is John Marietta and I am the Hillbilly, and today's show is being brought to you by Patriots Online, Mauser's Garage and Tire Center, Tactical Civics, White Mountain Logging, Solid Foundation Ministry, New Life Free Methodist Church, Keep Pulling, Highline Motorsports. Go over and see Greg. He's got some new bikes that just got in. I think he's unboxing them as we're speaking. Gun Owners of America, HBJ Radio, LLC, John Marietta for We the People, and Monarch Windows and Doors. We just picked up another sponsor. Oh, and the Fayette County Renegade Republicans. Hey, it's been a busy time. I have to speak to Nick for a minute here because he didn't get the most important flag that's flying here on the Facebook today, so we have to get him to turn the camera just a little bit.
We need it on you, John. You're the star.
Oh,
You're the main
okay.
attraction.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find a way to. There we go.
So, anyways, we had a football game on Sunday, and
was there? Fill me in. What happened?
Yeah. Well, we waited till we gave them the whole game to let us beat us, but then in overtime we decided we was going to just go ahead and put it away.
Well, that's nice of you that you
Yeah.
strung them along.
Yeah.
But congratulations, John.
But I've got some real good compliments. I forgot the cheeseburgers today.
Oh my goodness!
I'll bring them Friday.
You better. I'm not showing up.
We'll celebrate again on Friday with the cheeseburgers.
I'm ready. Well, that's certainly a celebration.
That's the most important thing. But anyways, let's start with this. And they shall dwell safely therein, and shall build houses, and plant vineyards. Yea, they shall dwell with confidence. When I have excluded judgments upon all those that despise them round about them, and they shall know that I am the Lord their God. When the blessings of the Lord is upon a nation, you typically see that it is largely marked by an overall peace and order. It's not engulfed in ongoing mass violence, tragedy, and mayhem. People can normally conduct themselves without a constant sense of dread. While no country is without moments of outbursts by those with wicked intentions, it shouldn't be a widespread or constant occurrence. Evildoers will always be in the world. Terror from being unleashed. It will always be in the world. But our prayers and decrees are part of the solution and repel the work of terror being unleashed. The United States has largely avoided its citizens the ability and opportunity to live in peace and safety, while not without some obvious incidents of tragedy. We have typically been viewed as a country of order in the broad sense of the word. However, in the last few days and the last months, last days continue to escalate, and the signs the Bible describes continue to unfold worldwide. We need to be discreet even more than our nation is marked by an overall peace and safety. I believe our prayers and declarations can interrupt the plans of the enemy that will desire to unleash the spirit of chaos and terror. We should not think that just because it is the last days we can't do anything to interrupt the darkness. God does stop it, moving his power because we're approaching the end times. We have the church, have a job to do in prayer to disrupt evil and call upon heaven to rain down peace, safety upon us. We must prophesy that the United States of America is a nation of tranquility and peace. We got a lot going on right now. There's many things happening, and the boys in Texas are doing everything they can to keep things underway. I really feel that some of our political leaders have misused their I don't want to say wisdom, but misused their authority in all these things, and now we got people coming over the border, and I have I have, oh, dear Lord, Jim, I can't think of your name right now.
I've only been your partner for the past almost
I'm
year.
just kidding
It's okay.
I have Jean and her son with me, and I have Jim Custer with me. And I called Jim last Friday, I believe, and he was on his way home from Washington, D.C., I believe, wasn't it?
Yes.
And we have, there's a sheriff in Butler County, Ohio, that's close to Cincinnati, and I got a post from him. He sent me a message, and it was really it's really disturbing. He's saying that the county that he's in is being attacked between 5 and 7 times a day cyberly, between different factions all around the world, trying to break into their software, doing things, and just to disrupt. It's not that they can do a lot, but they can disrupt. And then what they do is they hold us hostage for money if they can attack our software. Now in the recorder's office, I have somebody from I have two different factions that take care of that for me. I have somebody privately that comes in, and I also have somebody that has a county contract, and they kind of oversee it. I have them come in, I don't know, about every 3 months just to make sure. And usually there's something with the firewall we have to address.
Wow.
So it's an important thing, because I'm in charge of keeping your property secure.
Yeah.
And it really it upsets you when you know that there's a faction out there that may be clear across the world that just wants to disrupt things so they can hold you hostage.
I think in general, when we think of attacks, we think of physical attacks. We don't really go to cyber attacks as much. Like, do you think?
I think it's an ongoing thing. I think it's a way for people that are of evil intent to try to just cause disruption and try to cause people to fall. I mean, it can happen right inside it, but that's one of the things that I wanted to address today. Like I said, we're in the middle of doing some software upgrades actually in the recorder's office right now for a couple different purposes. So we're going to try to even make it even more secure.
Yeah.
But I asked Jim Custer, who is the sheriff, to come in and I don't know what he wants to speak about for sure, but I know that he has a lot of notes in front of him. But this is important, because what happened last week, we seen that the hierarchy and that's what I'm going to call them. I'm just going to say the hierarchy in Washington D.C. They didn't even want to address you.
No, that's correct. And just to follow up a little bit on what you were talking about, the cyber attacks, Sheriff Jones was alluding to the fact that their investigation has indicated that the Russians and the Chinese are behind this, and it's just small interruptions to see right now what we can get by with, planning for maybe something bigger in the future, whether they cripple the a power grid, financial institutions, that's all out there. It's what ransomware is all about. I think they're just testing the waters now, is kind of what the sheriff indicated. But it is an ongoing problem. Like you said, 5 times in a day that they're having interruptions to their software.
He did say that Iran is part of this deal too. And when we think about this, we've sent billions of dollars to these people, and now they're attacking us.
Yeah.
I mean, the Chinese. No. I mean,
he always talks about the plague.
Oh yeah, well they took us. They took 1 million of us out, over 1 million of us out. Yeah. So
maybe just to add to that a little bit, I happened to be with Sheriff Rick Jones from Butler County, Ohio. We were both in Washington D.C. last week for the National Sheriff's Association training conference. At that time, I had an opportunity to meet with several of our federal agencies, federal leaders. We met with Speaker Johnson. He came to see us. Some of the things is I'm a member of the National Border Security Committee of NSA. one of the things that we discussed was the bill that was proposed last week that eventually didn't make it to the floor. Our committee, our association government affairs committee, voted to oppose that bill, and of course, like I said, it never made it to the floor. That was just a typical convoluted bill right out of Nancy Pelosi's playbook of you got to pass it to see what's in it. It was 370 pages and had very little to do with border security. The proposed bill as written would probably still allow 150,000 migrants in a month, and also just give billions more of American taxpayer dollars to Ukraine and foreign countries that had nothing in there really to do with America first.
Wow.
Our executive committee had tried several times to meet with the president, President Biden, on this. He would not meet with us. The Chiefs of Police Association tried to meet with him, and he told them no as well. So I don't think this administration is very law enforcement friendly, and they don't want to hear what's going on in our communities and our border and the lawlessness of around the country right now.
And I don't know if people really realize what this man's job is. You want to kind of give us a brief? I mean, you don't have to tell us everything you do, because I know you do. There's some nights you don't get sleep. But I mean, can you tell us exactly what you have to take care of?
Well, the sheriff is an elected constitutional officer, and here in Pennsylvania, our duties are a little different than most of the sheriffs around the country. We do not call for service or get involved in in-depth criminal investigations like other states. But when I still take an oath of office to uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Pennsylvania, that's why I became involved with the National Sheriff's Association, because I would like to learn the events that are going on around the world in our country that could affect right here in Fayette County. So the more you can absorb and the more you learn of what's going on around you and what can affect your safety and security, because that's what ours as a law enforcement office is, safety and security of our communities.
Mm-hmm. And if it's Sheriff Jones, right? From that's his,
Richard Jones from Butler County, Ohio.
I tell you what, it'd pay you to take a minute, look him up. Mm-hmm. This man is I don't want to say a complete reflection of our sheriff, but they both look at things with the Second Amendment and things almost identically. And I tell you what, it's something that I hope that it doesn't ever come to fruition, but we need to be able to defend ourselves.
Yeah, he put a little blurb out there on I think it was a recap of our meeting that we attended in D.C. and I can just kind of reiterate what's in his video. The same thing that we saw. At first, take a step back. We remember the October 7th attack on Israel.
Exactly.
So in November, a group of our sheriffs from the executive committee, the president of the NSA, Sheriff Sean Pond from St. Charles Parish in Louisiana, our current secretary, Sheriff Jim Skinner of Collin County, that's the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Texas, Michael Mastinardi, sheriff from Ocean County, New Jersey, attended with some other members, our executive director, Jonathan Thompson. They all went to Israel with the some other police officers and some other government officials. And while they were over there, they met with the Israeli police and some Israeli military that took them around and saw firsthand the attacks on these neighborhoods. And while they were over there, they said that told our sheriffs and our police that these people hate you just as much as they hate us. And
wow.
It's coming, and your border's been open for 3 years. There's indications that that they are there, and it's just not a matter of if, it's when, that something like this attack, maybe not on this scale, but could happen in America, another 9/11. Once they were over there, I guess the Israeli army, Israeli police, was able to confiscate some body-worn cameras that the terrorists wore, filming their attack on Israel. Cell phones were recovered. What they did was put together like a 46-minute presentation that there was a general and a lieutenant colonel from the Israeli military that presented to us in Washington, D.C. And it was just, some of it was recorded of, basically, lack of a better term, it was like a Hamas pepper rally in in the Gaza Strip.
I seen it.
Yeah, celebrating, death to the Jews, kill the Jews, death to America. And then it showed them, going through the fence and just shooting Israelis right in the street where they were found. And it just became more graphic and horrific. I mean, it was not... It's very unpleasant to sit and watch that this one human could do this to another human.
I only got to see a very short clip of it, I don't know that my brother was over at for the first Desert Storm, and I'll tell you what, I don't think any of us understand the mentality of these people. They're willing to die. They don't. They have no. They want to take as many of us with them as they can.
Right. Yeah. No, it's an all-out holy war.
Yeah. It's against Christians.
Allah is great, and their chant in the videos, and I mean the beheadings and everything is real. I mean, if you've heard it, I witnessed it. It's
wow,
on camera. So
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be gloom and doom with Fayette County, but we're going to have to defend ourselves in a way that we probably never thought we were going to have to right here. Just local, and it's going to be the farmers and the hillbillies, and they're just going to stand up against this, because I mean that's what it's going to be.
That's one reason that maybe we haven't been attacked so much yet and they mentioned that the Israelis didn't have firearms like we have over here. There's more armed citizens from home to home over here that are going to be ready to take action if need be.
Yeah.
I mean, I do know that Australia right now is on. I don't know if there is a high alert as we are, but it's right there, because I have friends over there that are in law enforcement, and they said, I hope I don't want to get this wrong, but right now we're at actually a higher level of alert than what we were before the attack on the trade center.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean,
there's a lot more red flags right now than there was prior to 9/11. We met with several federal agency heads, from the FBI to the U.S. Marshals to Border Security. Those indicators are here that these little cells, are possibly grown at different areas throughout the country right now. So see something, say something has never been more prominent than it is now.
And believe me, I can tell you, if Jim gets a phone call, he's going to check into it. So please don't be afraid to call. He's not gonna discount anything right now, because the sheriff from Butler County, of course, he's closer to Cincinnati, and it's a very much bigger situation than what we are. But just below Cincinnati is Kentucky, and it's a rural area too. But we're just a few miles from Pittsburgh, Greensburg. I mean, and Uniontown is I mean, it's there's a lot of people here too.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, to think they're gonna try to do as much damage as many people as they can if they do anything.
But we got to meet and talk with the chief of the CBP, Customs and Border Protection. Their resources are just so thin, but they're working with our sheriffs and our law enforcement at the southern border. But they're just overwhelmed right now. So use all the prayers and help that they could get. But I talked to Sheriff Benny Martinez. He's the sheriff of Brooks County, Texas. He's just one county in from the southernmost point of Texas, and he's had 972 dead migrant bodies on his county of a population of only a little over 7,000.
Wow.
So this is just over the last few years, because while all this is going on down there, I mean, besides the ones that are on terror watch list, the ones that are getting away, I mean, there are some legit asylum seekers that, some that, are really here and for, the American dream, but the others are just here to do us harm. There's still the cartels controlling that southern border. You've got the Sinaloa and the New Generation Jalisco cartels, human trafficking, human smuggling, sex, labor, and plus all the fentanyl and all the drug trafficking that's coming in across and up through our country. And when you talk about the border, automatically, everybody thinks of the southern border. But CBP has basically put all their resources at the southern border. So right now, our northern border is seeing a lot more migrant activity. So because it's a lot more wide open even than the southern border.
Yeah, there's
so
places.
You've got across the top of the country, Montana, North Dakota, New York. Some of the New York sheriffs were there and was expressing how many are coming down through that way. We found indicia and passports and ID from 160 different countries that have come across the border through Texas, New Mexico, Arizona.
This isn't just right. I mean, I have family, and I've said this before, that lived in Albuquerque, and it's not the migrant workers that's the problem. Mm-hmm. They've done this for generations, and they've came up and they've worked and they went back and they sent their money back. It's all the rest of these countries in Central America, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but President Trump was right. They're not sending their best and their brightest. They're sending the ones that they want rid of, and when you think about it, he said 970 people died. A lot of them probably were transferred.
That's just in Brooks County, Texas.
That was in one county, and you're looking at they're transporting drugs. There's human trafficking going on, and this affects us right here.
Yeah,
I mean it's a problem.
Yeah, and like I said, the sheriff from Collin County, Texas, which is the Dallas-Fort Worth area, their deputies are encountering more pursuits with drug criminals and shootouts. They don't respect. They're not afraid of U.S. law enforcement. They're ready to go gun battle with you right there in the street, and that's what's been happening more across there. High speed chases across bottom of New Mexico, Arizona. These guys are out there risking their lives for that.
From what I understand, and maybe Jim can explain this a little better, they'll secure the border in Texas, they'll just move further west or go east and come in through Louisiana or come in through Florida even. Florida has a problem with this now too, believe it or not. Yep. And everybody thinks it's, everybody wants to go to Florida this time of year because it's cold here. But, I mean, you got to watch places in Florida where you're going to. Mm-hmm. I mean, Grandma can't just go down there anymore and stay in the same village she has. So you got to watch it because they migrate in. They come in and they'll take over houses. And then what they do is they build a chain. Jim's going to yell at me for this, but they build a chain from wherever they come in with these abandoned houses that they buy the whole way clear to New York City, and they move people, children, they move drugs the same way.
They have stash houses.
Yeah, all the way through. Yeah, and it isn't just the drugs anymore. It's children now. Yeah, and this is there's been lots of documentary things going on, but this sheriff and our sheriff, I'll tell you what, when I asked him about it, he said, "Are you going to have him here too today?" And I said, "Well," I said, "I got a phone call into him, and he's going to talk to us maybe a little bit later." But yeah, this is a terrible thing that's going on right now.
And then just another little thing we're seeing an uptick in is when all this started. Venezuela pretty much just emptied a lot of their prisons, put their criminals out on the street. Well, now they've made it up through Central America, Mexico, and into the country, and we're seeing an uptick in violent Venezuelan gang activity through Texas, Nevada, Illinois, New York, and Florida. Miami, New York City, Chicago, Vegas, and throughout. So they're a very violent group as well. You've heard of MS-13, so it's the same type of activity.
And I won't even describe, but the horrid things that MS-13 has done, and President Trump has said more than once about how many, but shipping these people back, but we can't jail them here either, and so we have to stop them on the other side. And at least when he was president, they were stopping them. Actually, the Mexicans were stopping them because he told them, he said, "If you don't help us out here, we're not going to let you send anything into our country." And they took notice right away.
Right.
They took notice right away.
But then that's the thing that's most frustrating is, like I said, our sheriffs and law enforcement and border patrol are just, they're catching these migrants, grabbing some information. They set a hearing date, 5 years later, and then they just get released after they've risked their life just to apprehend these individuals that are coming across, trying to identify who's who. But there's we know several have been caught on the terror watch list, but how many is here that got away that we haven't even seen?
I read about that a few years ago, the catch and release program. It was, on merit that these people were supposed to show up for their hearings. But once they get here, do you think they're really going to show up to be caught and be sent back?
Nope. Those are individuals that was on the news heavily there, a week and a half ago, the New York police getting beat by those migrants that were up there. They weren't even jailed. They were processed and released, and then when the charges were filed, they were found and picked up in Phoenix, Arizona. So the three of them.
Yeah.
They're not. There's no plans on them showing up.
When they get here, then it's like a free for all. And I was describing this to somebody the other day. My mom, she's from Korea, and so when she came here, this was way before the internet. She found a way to navigate this country without all that. Like now they have like the world at the in the palm of their hands.
Yeah, right.
And so you can find connections to anybody anywhere. So I'm sure, these people are finding, communities where they can survive. So,
right. Yep.
Or like I said, there's no way to legislate this. I don't. You can make all the laws you want, but unless you put the power back in it, and one thing I really feel that needs to be happen is the power needs to be put back into these sheriffs' hands, so they can do some things that they're they're kind of like they got their hands tied right here, especially in Pennsylvania, and I know I'm going to get it attaboy for that one, but seriously, I mean they have to be able to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And besides that, the immigration system is a broken system. I don't have these answers exactly how to fix it, obviously, but this is more than Republicans and Democrats. This is it's terrible in D.C. Our leaders, that are putting these proposed bills together. That well, just one I think maybe we was talking about in the beginning there. The Senate passed a $95 billion deal that has nothing to do with it about the border, but another 60 to Ukraine. $14 billion to Israel, another $9 billion humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip in through that area, and not one thing for America. That's $95 billion of American taxpayer money that's just being shelled out when we have. I'm a big humanitarian, but charity starts at home first, and there's a right way to do it and a wrong way.
You wouldn't want an animal to be mistreated.
No, not at all.
So we would do the same for a human being. Hey Nick, let's go to a commercial real quick.
Okay. Are you noticing your house getting a little drafty? Use your tax refund and call Monarch Windows and Doors. Family owned and operated with over 20 years experience, Monarch Windows and Doors can make your home warm again. Monarch Windows and Doors only use their own employees, no subcontractors. They are BBB accredited and offers military discounts. Call Monarch Windows and Doors and find out what they could do for you. 412-215-8116. That's 412-215-8116 or see Monarch Windows and Doors on Google or Facebook.
Open the champagne, pop the cork. The Senate Democrat leader and the Republican leader are on the way to Kiev. They've got $60 billion they're bringing. I don't know if it'll be cash in pallets, but they're taking your money to Kiev. Now, they didn't have much time, really no time and no money to do anything about our border. We're being invaded. A literal invasion's coming across our border. 800,000 people came illegally in the last month, and all they had time to do in the Senate was get the money, get the cash pallets, load the planes, get the champagne ready, and fly to Kiev.
Okay, hey, and we're back, and I got two more sponsors I gotta give a shout out to. That was Rand Paul. He was ranting today, this morning at, or maybe it was last night, and I wanted to play that clip. But I do got two more sponsors I want to throw in here that I forgot about. Fayette County Recovery and Storage. That's 724-323-3833. They also rent U-Hauls, and the Ink Spot in South Connellsville, 724-628-3858. Now back to the topic that we've been talking about. I'll tell you what, the sheriff said this, and I want everybody to listen real clearly what I'm going to say. This isn't a Democrat problem. This isn't a Republican problem. This is an American problem. Both parties have used this situation to try to fix it, but. Try to say that they're going to do this when they get in power, or they're going to fix this, but nobody's done it. This has been going on in a big way since President Eisenhower. He used to put them on buses, and now this is documented. He would put them on buses, send them back into Mexico. But the time the buses got back to the U.S. border, they were already turned around and coming back.
Right.
Now they fly them everywhere, right?
Some of them, right? Yeah, Texas has been flying them out. Florida's flown some out, to name a few. But just to touch on what you said, Democrat, Republican, if you think back to after 9/11, you remember how united this country was, and everybody flew an American flag.
Yes.
Let's see some of that unification now on America working for America before the next tragedy happens. Why does it take the loss of so many lives and a tragedy to bring a country together? I wish we could do that now.
You're exactly right, and that's what has to happen, and we can't. It's almost like they're using this it's a political football, and it's time we let the air out of the thing, and it's time we fix it. It's just fix it. I mean, the Israelis understand this better than anybody because they just lost thousands and thousands of people over there within an attack, and some of it came within, some of it came from the outside, but they were in place. Now, if it looks like we have the same situation happening right here in the United States town.
And it's just a play on words. I know with 911, we say never forget. Well, right now, Israel's motto is never again.
Yeah.
So it's just their way of thinking right now, and their.
Well, we need to change our mentality to fit their mentality, because we don't want this to happen again to us.
I think what it has to be is take America back. We the people need to take America back, and whether you're an elected official. If you're an elected official, you stood in front of a judge and put your hand on a Bible and said that you would defend the Constitution. I mean, if you're whether you're a township supervisor or you're a mayor of a small town, school board members. I mean, that's what we need, and we need to teach that to our children. The other thing is what Jim said. After 9/11, the few weeks after 9/11, you had to find a place to sit down in a church. I mean that's how. And maybe we've got away from just letting God take. I mean, God needs to be foremost in a lot of these things.
Well, you know what I noticed in the Super Bowl? That there were a lot of commercials about God. Did you notice that?
It seemed like they did.
I felt more so than in the past. I shouldn't say a lot because in comparison to what's being advertised, but I mean, maybe that's like the sign, you know?
So what we got to do is and Jim said this, Sheriff Custer said this, if you see something, don't be afraid to make a phone call.
Yeah.
Call your local law enforcement, whoever you call for service. Call our office we have great law enforcement officers here protecting and serving in this county. So please call us if you have something. Don't let it slide.
I mean, the county phone number is easy to get a hold of. Call the commissioner's office, and they'll put you through right to the sheriff's office, or they'll put you through to the. I don't want to flood the DA's office, but with phone calls or either. But we got a new district attorney, and I feel that he's gonna try to stand his ground on all this.
So what can we do as citizens to get involved to be more aware of like all these issues that are happening? Because I'm not gonna lie here. I probably haven't been cognizant of the small things that may be leading up to big things. Like, are there specific things that we should be looking for?
I think maybe we're going to start going around to some of the township meetings and see about. I'm going to reach out to state police and see if we can set up some of these community neighborhood watch programs again, just to try and bring awareness back. Everybody's busy in their day-to-day lives, and sometimes, like you alluded to during break, you miss what's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
So I guess my other question would be, what can we advocate as parents to bring programs into the schools to maybe make the kids aware as well about the dangers of all of these things that are happening? Like we were talking about child trafficking. Like what are some signs, or who are some good people to reach out to that we can bring in to speak to our kids?
Yeah, I think you might have to start with some of the school boards. I know we took that approach before, and they thought, no, that's too sensitive. We don't want to bring that into the school, or we can't have that kind of program. But so I think we have to start with them again and see what their line of thinking is now. But
because we got to get out of our
start.
Yeah, because we got to get out of our phones and back into the world, right?
Right.
And I mean, it's a valuable tool. I mean, it is your phone. There's no doubt about it.
But it's also a big distraction, right?
Yeah, well, but pictures.
But it is, it's a source of information in the palm of your hand.
Yeah, and
you can get real-time updates, and sometimes, that's what I said. You don't know, depending on what source you're reading or looking at, what's true and what's not. Is who's pushing an agenda,
right?
And I think that's one thing I like being involved with the National Sheriff's Association. It's a great organization for law enforcement, and I can network and pick up a phone and call any sheriff in the country. Like I'm hearing directly from them of what's happening at the border, so I know some of the stuff is true of what's going on. I know their numbers, and I know what they're going through on a daily basis. So
you were in Arizona.
The struggles they face.
You were down in Arizona.
Yeah, we were out in Arizona, and we're looking. There's the National Sheriff's Association, the Major County Sheriff's Association, the Western States Sheriff Association, and the Southwest Border, which is the Texas Sheriff's Coalition, are going to meet in El Paso for a meeting April 3, 4, and 5, just for an update then, and to bring more awareness and try another thing to get more out of our government to, let's put a stop to this. And that's one thing that the chief of the border security, or chief of the CBP said, that it's like drinking water from a fire hose or, a fire hydrant. He goes, I don't need more buckets, just stop the flow, and we'll be good, So I thought that cleared it up pretty good, but we need Congress and our government to act to make that decision, and the president can do that. He could shut that down if he so wanted, but he has shown no interest in it.
Well, yeah, and in the Senate, just like just like Rand Paul said, he said we have a bill in front of us which we're pretty sure isn't going to go nowhere, but there's $16 billion going to Kiev,
Right.
And what
Where
would
is
16?
Kiev, by the way?
That's the capital of the Ukraine.
Okay.
And I feel for them people over there because I mean there's a but
That's 60 billion.
60.
Proposed.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I think you said 16.
I thought he said 16. I thought, but
Okay,
but it
well,
could
it's
be
60.
It's 60 billion. But anyways, I mean, this could all come to fruition because this would have never happened if we would have been able to keep the president we had before.
But that's another frustrating thing, and that's what I said. Since Ukraine's war started with Russia, we've already given $100 billion of taxpayer money, and now they want to add another $60 billion. And that was another thing that I hadn't touched on. We had a person from Ukraine address us at the conference and just said how corrupt the government is, and the money that's being sent there isn't exactly going where it's needed. It's one of the most corrupt countries. So
well, it's been a laundromat.
Been a long time, right?
Yeah, it's been a laundromat for
that's why it's so frustrating when you see these types of bills introduced and coming out of D.C. It's just like
we're gonna put this bill out 1,000 pages, right. Okay, but you need to vote on it in an hour.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
let's just think about that.
Pass it to see what's in it, right?
Yeah, we'll pass it, and then we'll let you know what's in it. Yeah. So, but we also got to have people that's willing to stand up and say, you know what? No, enough is enough. No. And I mean, we need to secure our borders. We need to take care of our veterans. We need to do a lot of things in this country that we don't do properly.
Right.
I mean, I was in New York, and I got to stand within a few feet of where the 9/11 was, where the towers was, and it's a humbling thing. I mean, we need to think about that this could happen again, and it can. And right now, just like Jim said, that we're on a higher alert now than we were before 9/11. Maybe with the technology we have, it keeps us a little bit more smarter, but we are. So, anyways, I want to thank you for stopping in.
Oh yeah, you're quite welcome.
And I owe him an apology because I forgot to call him to read Night Before Christmas. But we'll get him next year.
I had to substitute, and I did not do a very good job. So we need you to come back.
Yeah, let's see if we can get that this year.
We got a little bit confused there. But anyways.
Yeah, I'd just like to add one thing. Like I said, Fayette County is my number one priority. This is our home. This is our community. So if there's anything out there that somebody has questions on, please feel free to call me at the office or stop in. We'll be glad to see you. But thank you for listening today. And just like I said, felt that this was information that you should be aware of and know coming from a county leader. And that not to scare anyone, but God bless you all and thank you.
Well, we're going to close up, and because you have to go to ski practice, right? So, anyways, on this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad. Smile when you're sad, love what you got, and remember what you had. Always forgive, but never forget. Learn from your mistakes. People change. Things go wrong. Just remember, the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am John Marietta, and I am the HillBilly.